Hello. Hello. Right. Let's go through some stuff. Talk about money. I haven't really rehearsed this or anything, so I'm just going to try and reel off what I can. 170% is roughly what I've made over the last year since I've been investing. I started on my birthday, which is today, 24th of February, around this time last year. I'm 25 today. So I started buying in when everything was low, which was pretty easy. Right, everything started crashing around the 23rd, 4th of February. So I started buying in, putting in little bits. The stock market was crashing and crashing, basically just buying into the lows. It was quite easy just to ride back up to even an average. So that was easy money. But after that point, you have to start being a bit more creative. So what I started doing is buying companies that were cheap, right? And new, and that had big growth potential. So I didn't want to buy into like Facebook and Netflix, things like that. Because they're kind of safe, but you're not really going to make loads of money or make a decent percentage return per year to try and grow your account. If you're a millionaire, then maybe you can do that because it's 10% a year is enough money on a million, right? But yeah, so I wanted to look at companies that were going to grow. So you have to forward think, right? So I was looking at like NIO, for example, when it was $2 per share. Electric vehicle company, you can see obviously the potential for that in 2030. All cars in the UK have to be electric vehicle. I don't know about worldwide, but so I bought into that $2 and it rallied up to about 50, 60. It's ranging now between about 40 and 60. I like to buy newer companies because, like I say, because they're new, like 2014, 15, 16, they're more speculative. And when they're speculative, they're more volatile, which isn't great if you're like a investor with a large amount of capital, but if you've only got like a few grand, then you can grow fairly quickly on those. So yeah, look at new companies with growth, and you want to buy low and sell high, right? Don't try and buy into the hype because, funny enough, you think, well, it's obvious, buy something when it's cheap and sell it high, but people don't really do that. They'll listen to the news and saying like, oh, I don't know, like Tesla for example, oh, it's going up, this stock, blah 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 blah, and the FOMO, fear of missing out, right? So people are trying to get in too late. So it's okay, you might make a bit of money, that stock might grow or whatever, but the chances are the stock has more downside than upside at that point. So you want to be, proactive and try and find stuff that isn't hyped up so much by news. Like NIO at that time, no one really knew about it. I was buying it in cheap. So you need to try and look for something that's got a lot of growth, like Pinterest for example, right? I like Pinterest because unlike Facebook, Twitter, WhatsApp, whatever, Snapchat, you don't go on there to buy things, you go on there to socialise, right? But Pinterest is like the only one where you go online to actually look to buy things. So how brilliant is that for an advertising perspective? So I think they're going to be a really good one, and they've been rallying all year for around the last year. Other things like lithium, right? So, there's got to be a load more electric cars, shitload more batteries to power those cars. Batteries, the major component is lithium, so why not invest in some lithium companies, right? I know Samsung are building like silver carbon, something like that, but lithium is obviously the major one at the moment, right? So, like Lithium Americas, Bacanora Lithium, which is a UK one, I don't know if I'm saying that right, but they all exploded as well, and you just got to forward think and buy them early. I'm not saying buy these now. None of what I say here is investment advice. It's just what I've done, my personal journey, if you like, for the last year. Things like that. Pharmaceutical companies are another one of my favourites because, like Novavax, for example, is very fucking readable. You look at the chart and it's like every couple of years it always ranges like well below 40. I bought mine for an average of about $9. I don't even know what it is now, probably a couple hundred, but every couple of years or year, whenever they run trials really, what happens is the hype before a trial, it runs up to about $40 Novavax, yeah? So I bought mine at 9, I'd already quadrupled my money. I sold because I didn't care if it was going to pass or fail, I wasn't going to take that risk, right? It passed and went to like 150 pretty quickly. Which, I could have made more money, but it could have also failed and the stock could have just plummeted. So I was happy making 400% or 300% on that one stock. Things like that. Charts are pretty good, quite cyclical. If you can find something that's moving cyclically, then you can just buy the lows. News, like I said, don't try and buy on good news, because you're already too late. The stock's already moved. You're buying at the highs. There's just no point. You want to be buying before the news. Also, bad news. I like certain bad news, not like fraud or like a company, fraudulently doing whatever, faking bank sheets, stuff like that. But when it's like, just a little failed test or a failed merger, for example, a couple of those, Virgin Galactic failed a test flight, just failed a test flight. The stock halved, fucking halved. So I was like, right, buy some of that then, because they're just going to run another one, right, until they pass. So, and then within a few weeks, a month, it just doubled, smashed past its previous high and just exploded. Actually, pretty similar with a gaming company, Chinese gaming company called Huya. I can't remember what they were trading around, but they failed a merger, right? A much anticipated merger, so the stock halved again. Very similar to Virgin Galactic. I think this happened first. So I just started buying that because I liked the stock anyway. It was a young company again that I thought had a lot of growth. So I bought it at the lows. It crashed and I started buying it. And then within a few weeks it had recovered and smashed its previous high, even though it just failed this merger that everyone had been waiting for. So it's, bad news is good for me. When everyone panics and sells because the stock's going down, I just buy it up. Sorry, it's a cup of tea. Game of Thrones mug. Yeah, so, and that's it really. I mean, when you get bigger, like, I don't know, 50, 100k, you might want to diversify a bit, put some in Amazon, or I do have Amazon, put some in some more safer stocks which are very lower return. But if you have like a 2 grand, 3-5 grand, you're going to make, I don't know, if you have like a 20, 30k a year job, you're going to make way above what you're making on stock. So why put money into like, 5-10%, or FTSEs and things like that? That's for more if you can, of course, but that's for more if you've got a large capital. What's the point? 170% is fucking amazing, by the way. I did not expect to make that percent. Obviously, a lot of things exploded, a lot of pharma companies. I picked a lot of good, I got in at the right time. I don't expect to make that again. I expect maybe between 50 and 100%. It's optimistic. Most people laugh at me for this. But if you're buying newish companies and you expect to live and you spread your risk, there's no reason why you can't, right? I don't get people who have, like, I don't know, 10 grand, 5 grand, and they buy like 2-3 companies. You're risking like 33% per position, right? That's just fucking ridiculous. If one of those halves, you've lost like 15-20% of your account. With me, I try and keep it between 20-25 companies, 4-5% of risk per position. So if I have a 5% on one company, and these are all companies that I believe and I've done my research on, and it halves, like the stock halves, I'm only losing 2.5% of my portfolio. So you've got to manage your risk, right? I know I haven't talked much about fundamentals, figures, price to earnings ratio and stuff like that, and it can help, but everyone's doing it, and to be honest, the stock just moves on the news. Like that doesn't always correlate, right? So something can have a high price to earnings, and a low price to earnings, but that doesn't always correlate. It just depends if it's a growth stock or a value stock. I'm not going to go too much into that because this is more just how I pick stocks that are cheap, or not even necessarily cheap, but just low. It's funny, right? Because I know it doesn't matter if the price is like $1 or $100. Doesn't mean one's cheaper. Technically it is, but price to earnings and all that sort of stuff. But the funny thing is, I have found that a $1 or $2 stock will double much faster than a $100 stock. It just fucking does, because it's cheaper. More idiots buy it. And there's a lot of newbies now buying stocks, and there's a lot of power in retail. So a lot of people just like me buying up stocks because I don't want to buy $100. It sounds expensive, even though it's not, right? Even though it's not based on how the stock performs and all this sort of stuff, and the market cap and all this thing. But they do. They just move better. So I have had a lot of stocks that have been on like $5-6, and they're now like 100, like ridiculous 200. Obviously I haven't held all that time. I've got out and got in and got out. Would have probably done better off if I'd held, but yeah, they tend to move. They tend to move faster. Of course, a $5 stock can easily go down to $3, but you're not going to put 10 grand on a $5 stock, are you? Unless you've got a few mil, sort of thing. But that's pretty much it, to be honest. Like I say, don't try and copy my company. I don't get when people like, this person's made this much, I'll copy their investments. Like, fucking no, because what happened last year ain't gonna just happen again. If the stock's gone up 1,000%, doesn't mean it's gonna go up another 1,000. it's all different. You've always got to be on the move, constantly looking for new, fresh fucking meat, fresh companies that are going to do well. My favourites personally are like Neo, Pinterest. Palantir was quite good, but I didn't really, to be honest, I didn't fully understand the stock. I knew what it was about, but just a bit more of a guess to me, which is fine. I'm playing with small capital, right? So yeah, Neo, Pinterest. What other ones do I like? I have to pull up my portfolio. Airlines is one that they're low, and they're going to be hyping up because of the Brexit, the lockdown. Sorry, COVID. Because the lockdown restrictions are putting, we've got a date now for when we're coming out, so all the hype's going to come up. But really, the prices match them now what it was in 2019, say for EasyJet, when, mate, they're not going to be earning that much because not many people are going to be actually booking holidays when they get their earning results come out after the lockdown's opened up. People are going to see shit they've not actually made that much money, and the stock's going to plummet. So I'm selling. I've sold it now. I've sold it because of the hype. The hype has bought them up. They're people are buying off me. Like I've already had EasyJet, when all you pussies were selling it. I bought it up, right, but on the crash, and now I'm selling it to you because you're buying it now. Because, look at the news, everything's open up. No, you're too late. You need to forward think again. So that's one of those things. Other stocks, yeah, like intuitive stocks, like Serence is one. Quite speculative. It's they do like technology in cars where they can like see if you're like gaze, I don't know what it's called now, but if you're like not looking at the road too long, the technicals, they basically work on car technology, yeah. So like gaze detection, if you're gazing away for too long, it will like alert you and shit like that, which I think is pretty cool. Maybe they'll get a contract with Tesla or something, I don't know. But I'm interested now. I like that. I like technology like that. All the tech is in cars now, so that's one, and they're working on electric cars and things like that. So I like that. But yeah, do your own research, find ones that you like. And invest in shit I don't invest in finance. I just think they're boring. What's in general? What's the fucking point? Well, that's just me, right? So I don't like it. It's just who's gonna buy it? But someone like, I don't know, Tesla or Virgin Galactic, like a spaceship fucking stock where they do space holidays and shit. I'm like, that's interesting. It interests me, yeah. So I'm gonna buy it. But that's it. Leave some comments below. I know I didn't go really deep into any like technicals or anything like that. That's not necessary always. I know you need to know how to read a chart and things like that, but yeah, this video is more like inspirational for beginners. It is quite easy to make money on the stock market. It's quite easy to lose, but in general, stocks go up. So as long as you're not a retard and picking shit stocks, most of the time they're going to go up. Most stocks go up. It's a fact. I don't bother shorting stocks. I don't play with leverage. I don't need to. You can only go down so far, but the upside to stocks, there's no cap. There's no cap. A bit like Bitcoin. People are buying Bitcoin right now. They're buying it now. Fuck me. Shit, really? Fuck the hype. Like 2018, there was a massive hype, wasn't there? And then it just crashed. And I can see the same thing happen again. If I want to buy Bitcoin, I'm going to be buying it after the crash, when it's low. There's no chance now that, what was it? Someone said, a fucking famous quote, like when the shoe shine boy is talking about stocks, it's time to sell. So that's like that with Bitcoin. When everyone's talking about Bitcoin, who else is going to put money in? Whose money are you going to take now? When someone famous always posts something like, this stock or this Elon Musk, Bitcoin, I've bought Bitcoin. You're not going to say I'm about to buy Bitcoin, are you? I've bought Bitcoin, £1 billion worth. He's not an idiot. He's buying that, telling everyone, Elon's bought it. It must be a good investment. So everyone else buys it. You know what he's doing, right? He's buying it, telling you for you to push his value of price up for his Bitcoin. He can then sell it. It's pretty simple to me. Like when someone says, this stock's going to hit this price and they're famous, but they've already bought stocks in it and they want you to buy it to push their price up. It's just market manipulation, isn't it? Fucking, there you go. But that's it. Hope you liked the video, guys. Got to try and post some more stuff. If you need anything else or, I don't know, whatever, let me know in the comments. And yeah, all my videos are going to be different. As you can see, if you've looked at my channel, they've been from Olympic weightlifting, boxing, funny shit, anything really. I like everything, so I'm going to start trying to post just some random stuff, maybe some rap videos as well, because I'm trying to get good at that. And it's hard, they haven't got a studio or nothing, everything's shut in a minute, but when they open up, that'll be good, get some music videos done. But yeah, let me know, peace out.